The lighter clicked. The flame kissed the corner of my diploma. In seconds, it curled, blackened, fell to ash on the white tablecloth. My father held my gaze. "You don't deserve Grandpa's money," he said, voice cold. 20 guests froze. My mother stared at her plate. My sister Vanessa smirked. Everyone waited for me to break, to cry, to beg. I didn't. I looked at the ashes and smiled, because they had no idea. Burning that paper didn't erase what Grandpa gave me. It only showed they never really saw me. And in 1 week, when the truth hit them in a lawyer's office, they'd learn who actually lost everything. Hi, I'm Skylar Lawson, 24 years old, software engineer, and this is the story of the graduation dinner that ended my family and started my real life. Let me take you back. I grew up knowing exactly where I stood in my family. Second place? Always. My parents, Marcus and Elaine Lawson, had 2 daughters, me and Vanessa. Vanessa was the star, beautiful, outgoing, the one who got the solo in the school play, the one whose art projects hung on the fridge for years, the one my parents bragged about to their friends. I was the quiet one, the practical one, the one who got straight A's without making a fuss, the one who fixed the computer when it broke, the one who didn't need attention, or so they told themselves. Dad would say, "Skylar's independent. She doesn't need hand-holding like some kids." Mom would nod. "Vanessa's more sensitive. She needs the encouragement." I learned early that asking for the same encouragement was being dramatic. At 11, I built a robot for the science fair, won first place. Dad missed the ceremony. He was at Vanessa's dance recital. At 15, I got accepted into a prestigious summer coding program. Took the Greyhound bus alone. Mom and Dad were in New York for Vanessa's modeling audition. At 17, I won a full-ride scholarship to Stanford. They sent flowers. Vanessa got a new car for her hard work in high school theater. I told myself it didn't matter. I had Grandpa. Grandpa Lawson was different. He saw me. He'd sit with me in his garage workshop, teach me how circuits worked, how to read legal documents, how to negotiate without raising my voice. "Strength isn't loud, Sky," he'd say. "It's steady." When he got sick 2 years ago, I was the one who drove him to chemo, sat with him through the nights he couldn't sleep, listened to his stories about building the company from nothing. Vanessa visited once, took a selfie for Instagram. Dad complained about the medical bills. Mom worried about how it would look to their friends. Grandpa knew. 3 months before he passed, he called me to his bedside. His voice was weak, but his eyes were sharp. "I changed my will," he said. "Everything goes to you." I thought he was confused. "Grandpa, Dad will—" "Your father stopped listening to me years ago," he interrupted. "He thinks money is for show. You understand it's for building." He made me promise to stay quiet until the reading. "Let them think what they want," he said. "The truth speaks louder when they're not expecting it." I promised. He died 2 weeks later. The funeral was beautiful. Dad gave a speech about legacy. Vanessa cried prettily for the cameras. Mom organized everything perfectly. I stood in the back, quiet. Like always. College flew by. I graduated summa cum laude in computer science, landed a job at a top tech firm in San Jose, starting salary higher than Dad's at my age. They acted proud, for once. Dad slapped my back. "Good job, kid." Mom took photos. "We always knew you'd do well." Vanessa hugged me. "I'm so happy for you, Sky. I should have known it was too easy." The graduation dinner was at Marcelli's, upscale Italian place in the city, white tablecloths, crystal glasses, 20 guests, family friends, a few cousins, Vanessa's latest boyfriend. I wore the navy dress Mom picked out, kept my hair simple, smiled when people congratulated me. Everything felt almost normal until dessert. Dad cleared his throat. The sound cut through the chatter like a knife. He pulled a folder from his briefcase. Thick, official. "Skylar," he said, sliding it across the table. "We need to talk about Grandpa's estate." My stomach dropped. Mom nodded. "It's time to be reasonable." Vanessa sipped her wine. Watching. I opened the folder. Transfer documents. Everything in my name. To Vanessa's. Dad didn't wait. "Grandpa wasn't thinking clearly at the end," he said. "You have a good job now. Vanessa's still finding her path. She needs the house, the investments, the company shares." I stared at the papers. "Sign it," Mom added softly. "It's what family does." Vanessa smiled. "Come on, Sky. You don't even like that old house. And the company? You're in tech. I could turn it into something creative." I looked up. "No." The word came out clear, calm. Dad's face reddened. "Don't be selfish." "I'm not signing." Mom leaned in. "Think about your sister." "I am," I said. "That's why I'm not signing." Vanessa laughed, short, sharp. "You think you deserve it more than me?" Dad stood. "Enough." He reached into his pocket, pulled out my diploma, the one I'd framed and given him as a gift. "Dad, you want to play adult?" he said. "Fine." He flicked open a lighter. The flame touched the corner. Paper caught instantly, curling, blackening, falling apart in his hand. "You don't deserve Grandpa's money," he said. Ash drifted onto the table. Guests gasped. Someone whispered, "Marcus." Mom looked away. Vanessa watched with wide eyes, almost excited. I didn't move. I watched the last piece burn. Then I stood, smiled. "Thank you for dinner." I picked up my purse, walked out. No tears, no scene. Just the sound of my heels on marble, and the knowledge that next week, everything would change. The drive to Aunt Riley's was a blur. She opened the door without questions, hugged me, made tea. I told her everything. She listened, then said, "Your grandpa knew what he was doing." I stayed with her that week, ignored the calls, the texts, the emails. Dad, "Come home, we'll talk." Mom, "You're overreacting. It was just paper." Vanessa, "You're being dramatic. It's not that deep." I didn't reply. Friday morning, Mr. Dalton called. "It's time." The law office in Santa Monica was quiet. Sunlight through big windows, long table, documents stacked neatly. I arrived early, sat alone. They came in together. Dad first, jaw tight, Mom clutching her purse, Vanessa scrolling her phone. They stopped when they saw me. Dad recovered first. "Good. You're here to sign." I didn't answer. Mr. Dalton entered, closed the door. "Let's begin." He opened the will, read the standard parts, then the part they didn't expect. All remaining assets, including the family home, investment portfolio, and majority shares in Lawson Enterprises, are bequeathed solely to my granddaughter, Skylar Lawson. Silence. Dad laughed, nervous. "That can't be right," Mr. Dalton continued. "There's a video." He pressed play. Grandpa appeared, weak, but clear. "If you're watching this," he said, "it means Skylar kept her promise." He looked straight at the camera. "I watched you all my life. Celebrate one granddaughter, ignore the other. Skylar never asked for praise, she earned it. Vanessa, you asked for everything and got it. This isn't punishment, it's correction. Skylar will protect what I built. She'll grow it. You taught her strength by never giving her any. Now watch what she does with it." The video ended. Mom's hand flew to her mouth. Dad stared at the screen. Vanessa whispered, "No." Mr. Dalton slid the transfer papers, already executed, Irrevocable. Dad tried. We can contest. You can't, Mr. Dalton said. Clear intent, multiple witnesses, video testimony. Vanessa stood. This is unfair. I need that money. I have plans. I looked at her. Really looked. You always had plans, I said. They just never included me being happy. Mom reached for my hand. Skylar, please. We're family. I pulled away. Family doesn't burn your achievements because you won't give them what they want. Dad's face crumpled. Not regret. Loss. I stood. The company board meets Monday. I'll be there. Vanessa laughed, broken. You? Run Grandpa's company? You'll ruin it. Maybe, I said. But it'll be mine to ruin. I walked out. Didn't look back. 3 months later, I sold the old house, bought a condo in San Francisco, close to work. Lawson Enterprises is growing. I brought in new leadership, focused on innovation, revenue up 40%, employees happy. Vanessa? Last I heard, she's waiting tables, living with Mom and Dad, who downsized, sold the big house to cover debts. They tried calling once. I didn't answer. Some bridges aren't worth rebuilding, especially when they were the ones who set them on fire. Grandpa was right. Strength isn't loud. It's the quiet decision to stop accepting less than you deserve. If you've ever been the overlooked one, the one expected to give everything and ask for nothing, remember this story. Your worth isn't decided by people who only value you when you're useful. Sometimes the greatest inheritance isn't money. It's realizing you don't need their approval to build something extraordinary. Drop a heart if you've ever walked away from toxic family. Comment "burned diploma" if this gave you chills. Subscribe for more stories of quiet people finally taking back their power.